Your voice goes up at the end of sentences that aren't questions. That's not a speech habit, that's a survival strategy. And it can be unwound. Hi, I'm Melanie, your witchy mother, and today we're talking about your voice. Not your singing voice, not your brand voice, your actual voice. The one that comes out of your body when you say what you mean. Or more accurately, the one that's been shaped, softened, and turned into a question mark by every system that needed you to take up less space. I want to tell you something about glamour magic that most people get wrong. Glamour is not about how you look. It's about the field you project. Your presence. The information your body sends into a room before you've said a word. And what happens when you open your mouth and your voice confirms it. Your voice is a magical instrument. It always has been. And if you grew up in a high-control system, it was one of the first things they got to. Today, we're going to talk about what soft voice conditioning is, where it comes from, how it runs in your body, and then we're going to do something about it. An actual practice, a vocal ward, something you can use. Let's go. Here's something I want you to sit with. Every high-control religious system in history has had specific rules about women's voices. Not just what women were allowed to say, how they were allowed to say it, the volume, the tone, the certainty. Women in these systems were taught explicitly and implicitly that a soft voice is a holy voice, that conviction sounds like pride, that taking up sonic space is aggression, that a question at the end of a statement is humility. It's not humility, it's a leash. Upspeak, which is the pattern of ending a declarative statement with a rising inflection like a question, is statistically far more common in women, and specifically in women who grew up in environments where certainty was dangerous, where having a strong opinion invited correction, where the safest thing to do was leave every statement slightly open, slightly uncertain, slightly differential, just in case the authority in the room needed room to disagree. Your nervous system learned that a definitive voice inflicts conflict. A soft voice stays safe. And so your voice learned to apologize before it finished speaking. Let me give you some examples so you can hear this in yourself. Upspeak sounds like, I think we should maybe try this approach. It might work. When what you mean is, this is the right approach, let's do it. It sounds like starting sentences with, I don't know if this makes sense, but before something that makes complete sense. It sounds like, sorry, but can I just say something? Before saying something that required no apology. It sounds like trailing off in the middle of a sentence because you felt the room shift and decided to abandon what you were saying before you finished it. And here's the one that gets me every time. It sounds like ending your name with a question mark, like introducing yourself and going up on the last syllable, like your own name is something you're not sure you're allowed to claim. Hi, my name is Melanie. I did all of this for years. And sometimes I still catch myself doing it. The conditioning runs deep because it was installed early, in the classroom, in the church, and at the dinner table. Be sweet, don't be bossy, lower your voice, let him finish. Don't make it a big deal. Good girls don't argue. Every one of those corrections was a lesson in where your voice was allowed to live. And your body took notes. Which one of these do you catch yourself doing? The trailing off? The sorry before saying something? Drop it in the comments because I know you're not alone in this. I want to tell you about red lipstick, even though I'm not wearing any right now. I grew up where makeup was vanity and vanity was a sin. Pride goes before the fall. Put others first. Any spark of self-celebration got doused with guilt before it could flicker. I learned early that my job was to stay small, quiet, and grateful, to make myself easy to love. Then came my first marriage, where that message got a megaphone. He would say to me, you're lucky to have me. No one else would tolerate you. You're not that great. When the church teaches you humility and your partner teaches you worthlessness, the line between the two disappears. And your voice, the actual sound of you, the certainty and the space you take up when you speak, goes quieter and quieter until you barely recognize it as yours. Now I can be barefaced, hair a mess, wearing pajamas, but the moment red lipstick hits my lips, something shifts. Not a performance, not a mask. It's an activation. That color is the spell. It's the signal I send to my own nervous system. I'm here. I'm present. I take up space. Speak accordingly. That's glamour magic. That's what it actually is. not decoration, not vanity. It's a somatic anchor, a physical cue that tells your body which version of you is showing up. Your voice is the same. You can use it as a tool on purpose. You can practice sending your nervous system the signal, this is the voice of a woman who knows what she knows. In folk magic and occult tradition, the spoken word has always been understood as one of the most powerful tools available, not because of mysticism, but because of physics. Sound is vibration. Your voice carries literal waves in the air that move matter, shift energy, and land in the bodies of everyone in the room. When you speak with conviction, people feel it before they process it. When you speak with apology, they feel that too. In the old traditions, words spoken with intention were spells, charms, wards. The cunning folk who preserved these practices understood that how you say something changes what it does in the world just as much as what you say. Your voice was taken from you, or rather it was shaped into a tool for managing other people's comfort, because the people who ran these systems understood this instinctively. A woman who speaks with certainty is harder to control. A woman whose voice ends in a question is asking for permission she doesn't need. Reclaiming your voice is not a confidence exercise. It's a magical act. It's reclaiming a tool of power that was deliberately blunted. And the practice I'm going to give you is exactly that, a practice. Not a performance, not a one-time fix, a daily ritual of using your voice as a ward, a declaration, and a physical instrument of sovereignty. Here's the practice. I call it the vocal ward. You're going to use your voice on purpose in private to recalibrate it before you take it into the world. This is a practice, not a performance. You're not doing this for an audience. You're doing it for your nervous system. What you need is a private space, your voice, 5 minutes. You can have a candle if you want, something that you can hold that anchors you. You could have a stone, a piece of jewelry, anything that feels like yours. Step 1 is to ground. Put your feet on the floor, shoulders down, and take 2 or 3 slow breaths. Feel your body take up the actual space. Step 2 is to start in your chest. Most people in compliant conditioning have learned to speak from their throat or their head. It's quieter, more controlled, more easily modulated down when someone needs you smaller. Put your hand on your sternum and feel it. Breathe into that space before you speak. Step 3 is to speak 3 declarations out loud. Not affirmations, declarations. The difference matters. Affirmations are things that you're trying to believe, and declarations are things that you're stating as fact in your own voice, on your own authority. Start with your name, not as a question, as a statement. My name is Melanie. Full stop, no uptick, no apology in the tone. Say it until it lands flat and certain. Then say, I know what I know. Then say, my voice carries weight. Say each one like you mean it, which means slowly, which means all the way to the period, which means not softening the end to make it easier for an imaginary audience to receive. Step 4 is to add your own. What does your voice need to claim today? Name it, say it out loud as a fact. Not a hope, not a wish, not a maybe, a fact that you're speaking into being. Step 5 is to sit in it. Don't immediately move on. Let the words land and feel them in your body. Notice where you wanted to soften them and didn't. That noticing is the work. This practice takes 5 minutes. Do it before anything that requires you to be seen. A meeting, a hard conversation, a video you're filming, a phone call you've been putting off. It will not feel natural at first. The unnaturalness is information. It's showing you how far your voice has been conditioned away from its own center of gravity. Keep going anyway. I want to close with something practical. When you start speaking without the apology in your tone, people notice. Not always consciously, but something does shift. The conversations change. The negotiations change. The people who were accustomed to the question mark in your voice, the ones who needed that deferral, will push back. They will call you aggressive or cold or difficult. That's information too. It's showing you who was depending on your soft voice to keep them comfortable. Your voice was never supposed to be comfortable for anyone. It was supposed to be true. Glamour magic has always been about this. Not beauty for its own sake, but presence, power, and the field that you project. Your voice is part of that field. When it's clear, certain, and genuinely yours, it changes the energetic transaction in every room that you walk into. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to perform certainty that you don't feel. You just have to stop ending your truth in a question. Say what you know, all the way to the period. If this is landing for you and you want to do reclamation work like this in real time with other women, with ritual, with fire and salt, I run a live workshop every month called The Witch in the Pew. The next one is on June 6th. If you can't make that, there's other ones that you can schedule. The link is in the description. And if you're just finding me, I have a free grimoire, 5 spells for glamour, money, protection, deconditioning, and receiving. That's also in the description. I'll see you next week.